Hey, I'm John Gordon. You are joining us with the Power of Positive Summit. I am with Chris Hogan right now, Super Bowl champion, and a guy that I've known for a while, and I just admire him so much. I love his story of perseverance and grit, and I want you to hear it. I want you to know what it took for him to get from where he was to where he wanted to be. And Chris, let's start back when you were a Penn State lacrosse player. You then decided to go play football at Monmouth. Take us back to that decision. Why did you go play football? And did you think you had a future in it at the professional level at that time?
It was, it was a decision for me that I made, during my senior year playing lacrosse. It was in the fall. We had just finished up fall ball. I was on pace to graduate, and I'm driving home with my now fiance and mother of my kids, and I had this idea. I was like, you know what, like, I have this extra year of eligibility. Let me go follow or pursue a dream that I had, just to play college football. It was my other main sport, something that I loved to play in high school. A tough decision for me coming out of high school, whether or not I play lacrosse or football. I went with lacrosse, had an amazing time at Penn State, an unforgettable 4 years. And, I had this idea that I could, go play college football for a year. And once I got that idea planted in my head, I just, went from there. There's a couple of things, a lot of ups and downs and rules and regulations that I had to get by with the NCAA. But Monmouth ended up working out, and it was such a fun experience for me to, for me to graduate from Penn State and then able to go play a year of football. I mean, it was awesome.
And at that point, after Monmouth, did you think, okay, I'm going to go try out for the NFL? How did that happen?
That had never occurred to me. I think at the time it was, for me, it was kind of would never want to live life with any sort of regrets. And a regret of mine would have been not trying to play college football. And that idea turned into regretting not trying to play in the NFL, just because I think that, I could compete with some of the best in the world, even though I only played a year of college football. A couple of my buddies were actually training for the combine. So I said, why not? Why not train with them for a couple of months, delay the real world for a little longer and see what happens. And, that's kind of where this whole thing started. And I just, kept working hard. I mean, everything that I do, I kind of put everything I have into it. And football for me was, I was going to put every single ounce of energy that I had into trying to make it in the NFL. And, it never occurred to me that I would be where I am today. And that's not where my dream started out. I mean, I definitely had high goal. I definitely set the goal high and the standard high, but never in my wildest dreams or, 6 years ago would I have been, all right, my goal is to be a Super Bowl champion in 2017. That's not where it started. It started as, let me try to make a roster. Let me try to be on the practice squad for a little while. Let me try to compete with some of these guys, the best in the world, and, see what happens.
What made you think that you could do this, though? I mean, when you were doing the combine, did you realize, okay, I had the speed, I had the size? What made you think you could do this? Because I'm sure the naysayers were saying, you're crazy, it's a pipe dream.
Oh yeah, there's there were so many unknowns when I was training for the combine. Even myself. I mean, it would be foolish of me to think like, this is, can I really do this? Am I really capable of playing the NFL? And I've never doubted my athletic ability a day in my life. I think that's part of the reason why I was able to continue to keep trying after getting cut 3 or 4 times. But that first training camp that I had in San Francisco after the lockout, and it was my first experience of the NFL football. And the first time I got around these guys, I just kind of had I had this feeling that I was able to compete with these guys. And, once I got that little taste, I was such a raw football player, hadn't had a lot of experience, missed out on 3-4 years of football. I after that, I knew I could do it. So there was nothing that was going to get in my way of trying to make this dream a reality.
People say you have to start by having this dream and you got to work towards the dream. You really didn't have initially didn't have the dream. The dream came along after you started.
Yeah. It was, I didn't know what this was going to be. I really didn't know. For me, it was a challenge. It was a challenge for me. It was just another challenge that I wanted to take on. And the first challenge was, overcoming this perception of, this lacrosse player playing football, didn't play a lot of college football. I mean, I was trying to play receiver in the NFL level, and I played defense in college. Which a lot of people don't know. I played cornerback. I started at cornerback at Monmouth because, that's what they asked me to do. And, that season I did everything. Whatever they wanted me to do, I was going to do at Monmouth. So there was a lot of obstacles to overcome. And, my first, just kind of jumping ahead, that first team that I finally made, that first roster in Buffalo, that was, that's where the dream, I think, really started. Now I can do this. I can make a career out of this. I can support myself. I can support my family. Just by, using the work ethic that I've been using my entire life, but never getting complacent, always taking advantage of every single opportunity that I was given. And that's, kind of the reason why I stuck around. I was blessed with a lot of opportunities. A lot of guys don't get that many, and I was blessed to get a lot, and I was able to take advantage of most of them. And I think that's part of the reason why I was able to stick around so long in this league.
So people should know that you just had twins, and so that's why you're wearing sunglasses, because you're
yeah, I don't want you to see the bags underneath my eyes.
Your dad is not getting a lot of sleep, so I want people to know, they're probably like, why is Chris wearing sunglasses? Because as a new dad,
probably doesn't look good.
He's not getting any sleep right now, so please understand that. So all right, so now you now say, okay, I'm going to try to make it in the NFL. You start getting cut by some teams, but you have some good tryouts. Why keep getting more opportunities to try out again? What was it about you that they kept bringing you back and different teams kept bringing you back?
I think it was I think that the reason I was able to get a couple of opportunities was, I can throw some credit to my agent. Obviously he did a good job, but I think I had some, the physical characteristics were there. I mean, the athletic ability was there, and I think people were intrigued by, a 6-foot guy who could run well and big and strong. And I think, in every single place that I went, it was always positive feedback. In San Francisco, when I got cut, it was positive feedback. It wasn't, you weren't good enough. It was, I think, just it wasn't the right place. In Miami, it was the same thing. Had a great training camp there, and at the end of it, it was positive for me. And that's kind of the reason why, I kept kind of going at this thing was, no matter how many times I got cut, it was always positive feedback that I got. So even though it was, another door kind of closes, one more would open for me. So it was just, making sure that I looked at all the positives that I had done and how much I've grown over the years to just, make sure that every single opportunity that came my way, I was giving my 100% effort in, because if I didn't, that's, and this league can be short-lived, and that's just the reality of the NFL, and I knew that, and I knew that if I wanted to stick around, I had to play well, and I had to take advantage of all those opportunities, no matter where they came from.
How hard did you work?
Man, I mean, it's to this day, it's nonstop for me. I've never I mean, for example, I live in Long Island, but I train in Jersey. I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day and go out and train with a guy that I've been training with for 6 years, who's helped me a lot. But it's a commitment that I've made to myself that, if I want to make it in this league, I can't get complacent. I can't get, the reason I'm here today is because of the work that I put in, day in and day out, training for the combine, sitting on a couch, waiting for an opportunity. It was never kind of feeling sorry for myself. It was, okay, well, let's go do one session. Let's go to 2 sessions. What can I work on to get better? What do these guys want to see that, will allow me to stick around for a little bit longer in the league? That's my work ethic has, I think, what has allowed me to stick around, because people notice that, I'm last guy, or, first guy in, last guy out, type of, mentality. And, that's what's worked for me. And that's what I'll continue to do for the rest of my career, for the rest of my life. That's me. I've always had to work for what I've gotten, something that probably my parents instilled in me. And, I'll hopefully be able to pass that on to my future kids now too.
So I watched the Hard Knock series when you were on with Miami Dolphins, and I remember them saying, they called you 7-Eleven because you're always open. I'm thinking, if he was always open, why didn't he make the team that year? Why would you bring a guy who was always open? But obviously the Bills saw that, and because the Bills were the next team after Miami, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then it was the Patriots. So now you're with the Patriots. What was that experience like when you were there full time and you knew you were on this team? They signed you to a big contract. What did that feel like?
Man, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I kind of worked out a good career in Buffalo, and I was able to stick around there for a few years, and did pretty well. And I did well enough to get noticed by a few other teams, and New England was one of them. And to get a chance to play for an organization like the Patriots, who, I mean, literally the second you walk in the door, just, eat, sleep, and breathe hard work, 100% effort, focus. That was a dream come true to me, to be a part of that team and that organization, that locker room. There's some really great football players in that locker room, and great football coach, to top it off, and to play for him and to play for that organization and that city. I mean, it was awesome. It was so amazing. The season obviously was incredible. Top it off with a Super Bowl. I can't write that story any better than that. And it was quite an experience. And now it's, circling back to, going back this Monday, start the off season again. It's, going back to work and, starting from square one again, because, it doesn't really matter what you did in this league yesterday. It's all about what you can do today. And, we'll be back at it, starting next week, starting preparing for this next season. Hopefully we can, have another good season.
When you first started catching passes from Tom Brady, was it surreal in that first moment?
Tom, I mean, if you want to learn how to be a professional athlete, follow him around for a few days, because, I kind of prided myself on, my work ethic and what I did to stick around this league, and, how I kept my body in shape, and what I did to watch film and get, prepare for the season or games or whatever it is. But, he takes it to a different level. He is a true professional, what I like to call it. And I learned a lot from him this year. The guy's been around for a pretty long time and been doing it for a long time. And you couldn't tell that. He approaches every single game like it's his first game, and he approaches practice, even though he's been doing it, for his entire life. I mean, it's amazing the energy that he can bring to the field, and his competitive nature is it's contagious, and it makes that whole locker room better.
So on your journey, you faced a lot of naysayers, a lot of rejection, a lot of obstacles. How did you deal with the naysayers? What did they say? And how did you deal with that over time? I think this is important, because so many people who have a dream or pursue will deal with that.
It was, there was a couple of different points in my career, that I had to deal with it. And, probably about 2 years ago, I let it get to me, and I had not the best training camp that I had. And, it actually was, just coincidence that it was that time that, I was reading one of your books, and it actually helped me through that time period. And it was the Positive Dog. And, I had to learn how to block that out. And I had to learn to believe in myself, which I always have. But, I let little things kind of creep into my head. Like, if I had a bad practice, am I really good enough? Or am I, do I belong here? But, that was just one of those things that I had to overcome. And, a part of that was waking up each day and being positive. And I've really taken on that perspective in my career, because it's not always going to be great, and you're not always going to have a good game, and you're not always going to catch every single pass. And there's going to be people out there that think that you should. And, I have to accept that. Yeah. And if I can approach it with that positive outlook on every single thing that I'm doing, and put every single, every ounce of energy into being a football player, but, also having my priorities straight, and, focusing on, why I play this game. And that's because I love it, but it also can, provide for my family, for my wife, for my 2 children now. That it definitely changes the game when you have twins. I mean, I think I'll definitely approach training camp a little tougher this year, because it's, I want to play well for them, and I want to play well for all the people that have supported me. And I think that was also a big factor was, instead of having to, read the negative comments, why don't I call someone that has been there the entire time, that has supported me, that's believed in me. That was something that helped me. I could get on the phone and call my dad, or get on the phone and call one of my best friends. And, they could tell me that, you're living the dream, man. I mean, you're doing it, and you belong there. And, there was some bumps in the road I had to overcome. Getting cut is not fun. Something that was an eye-opening experience for me, because I have never been cut from anything until I reached the NFL. And, it lit a fire, in me. And it was something where that happens, and you never want to experience it again. And, it happened to me a few times, which, just added more wood to the fire. And that's part of the reason why I've been able to, keep that positive outlook on my career and myself as a player, a father, whatever it is, and never give anything, half effort. I would never do that.
I love that. I love that, what you're talking about here, because some people, they get rejected or they fail and they just give up. But
yeah,
you use it as fuel to keep moving forward.
Had to, I had a goal in mind. I mean, and I'm never one to give up on my goals. And, some of at one point in my career, I think all those naysayers and all the negative comments, I threw that right into the fire. Let me prove you wrong. I'm still proving people wrong to this day. There's a lot of people out there that don't think that I should be where I'm at, and which is fine. I mean, I worked really hard to get to where I'm at, and I'm proud of that. I know a lot of people are, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter what on the outside, what people looking in, or in my line of work, whatever a reporter writes, or someone comments on social media, that it makes no difference. As long as you believe in yourself, and I was able to do that for a pretty long time now, and I'm going to continue to do that, because I believe in my ability. I believe in myself as a football player, and as a person, as a father. I know I'm doing the right thing, working hard. I think that I'll be able to stick around for a little longer, and just because of that outlook on everything.
Yep. Your story is just so incredible, also because people watch the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship, where you just broke out, and they think, oh, he was always like that. He was always going to be a success. They don't really know your story. And what I love is that I remember a few years ago us connecting on social media, and just share encouragement back and forth. And I love it because you face so much adversity. You face so many challenges. When you had that breakout performance, it was the culmination of all those years of hard work, all those years of overcoming, all those challenges you faced, all came into that one moment. And most people don't know that. But that breakout game, what did that feel like when you when the world all of a sudden saw you shine? I mean, it was so rewarding, so exciting to see you play that way, that game. It was incredible. But how did it feel for you?
I mean, I think the most rewarding experience out of that entire night was having my family and my fiance there, who was pregnant at the time. She wasn't able to make it to a lot of the games, but I had so many people there at that game, people that have been part of this journey for a pretty long time. And, that was such a rewarding, I mean, I can't even describe the feeling, walking out of that tunnel after, getting done talking to the reporters and all that kind of stuff, to walk out of the tunnel and see them all waiting there. I mean, it was like a movie, like they were all just sitting there and they were just had these big smiles on their faces. Ashley ran up to me, gave me the biggest hug, or, I had the kind of, side hug because she was, almost 8 months pregnant at the time. My brother and my sister and my parents were there. It was so awesome. You get lost in the game. Obviously, what I was more focused on was winning that game and trying to do well for my team and, put us to the next level. But, when I look back on that game and, the performance I was able to, to do, I mean, it was incredible. Like you said, it was one of those things where it was all the work that I put in, all the hours, the early mornings, the practices, the countless, spending times on the jugs machine, on the field, after practice, all that kind of stuff. It seemed like it all kind of culminated into that night. And, I was just, for me, I was happy to be able to be a part of it, help my team, get to that next level. Personally, it was a great achievement as a player, but, I've never been a stat guy, never will be. It was, I'm all about the team, and I was able to help our team get to that Super Bowl. So that was a pretty rewarding experience.
In the Super Bowl, you guys didn't quit. And I was watching the video. I was watching the guys talk on, the live sound, and you guys kept on talking about love. Yeah, I love you, bro. Love you, man. Over and over again. Is there really a love on that team? And does love make a difference?
100%. I think what's special about that team was, every single one of those guys in that locker room was willing and more than willing to do whatever it took to win football games and to, to stand up for one another. And, we had didn't face a lot of adversity during the season. We had some tough games. But that was a big moment for us in that Super Bowl because, things weren't going well. And there wasn't a moment on that sideline where, there was a doubt. We just kept looking at one another like, we can do this. This is going to be a great story.
Right.
I got your back, no matter what. And I think that's part of the reason why we never gave up, because we knew that every single one of those guys in that locker room, they were going to come out fighting in that second half, and the entire game. And I think without that love, without that, that understanding of I've got your back, I'm going to give 100% of my effort right now to try to win this football game. I don't know if we are able to pull that off, but it is there. It's on that team. Every single one of those guys is a special locker room. A special group of guys that we were able to, put together a pretty incredible season and top it off with a Super Bowl win. You know, the way that we did it in that fashion was pretty incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So what are you excited about now? I mean, just won a Super Bowl, new season, young children, babies. What are you excited about now in your life? What are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to being a father. I mean, you know, it's still kind of surreal to me that I have twins. You know, that they're upstairs right now, you know, probably sleeping. But you know, I'm looking forward to raising my boy and my girl. You know, to still being a good husband, to and being able to focus still on being a good football player. You know, there's always a need and a desire that I want to always be better. I know that I can be better. I know that I can, in all aspects, but, professionally, in my career, I know that I can be a better football player. And that's something that has always been a drive in me that, that's never going to stop until, they tell me that I can't play anymore. Even then I'll probably still try to inch my way back somehow. But, I'm going to focus this year on being a better receiver, being a better teammate, trying to make sure that I'm healthy for the entire year, make sure that, I'm doing all the right things by my guys, by myself, my wife, 2 kids. I got a little bit more to focus on this year, but I think I'm excited about it because it's, I can put even more energy into some different things, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Well, the best are always striving to get better, and you're certainly, the best of the best. So I love it. What, as we look forward, as you're thinking about, again, you're talking about the future. There's a lot of people who are watching this who are our future. Young people are actually watching this. Different teachers will be sharing this with their students. What would you say to them when they have a goal, a dream, something they want to pursue? What advice would you share to them based on your experiences in your life?
My advice, to the younger generation, to people that have a dream, that if you want to pursue something, you have a dream, you have goals in mind, then, you got to get out there and you got to do it. I'm a firm believer in, good things happen to people who work hard. And that's a, little spin off on that, good things, don't happen to people that wait. They happen to people who, go out there and get it, and that's what it's about. It's about, believing in yourself, believing in the dream that you have. Even if you're a college lacrosse player who has a dream to go play in the NFL and maybe go to a Super Bowl one day, then if that's your dream, then get your goals right, and get out there and start working for it, because that's what it's about, putting in the effort, putting in the work. And if you're able to take advantage of the opportunities that you get throughout your life, throughout your careers, and make the most of them, hopefully you'll be able to achieve those goals.
Do you still play lacrosse a little bit? You still shoot around?
A little bit. I still pick up a stick every now and then. I love, I talk to Coach Tambroni now over at, who's coaching at Penn State, every once in a while, and, check up on those guys. I love following Penn State. They're doing well. So I love following the sport. The sport is so much fun to watch. Hopefully I'll get a chance this year. It's actually in Boston, the Final Four. So hopefully my Nittany Lions will be there. But yeah, I'll pick up a stick every now and then, and see if I can still throw it around.
You still got it. I spoke to that Penn State team and love those guys. I mean, just a great group of guys, and told them you said hello when I went there. They were so, thankful for that. I mean, just so supportive of what you're doing. So I just love the camaraderie between the football world and the lacrosse world now that you're bringing the two together, Yeah,
it's awesome. It's such a cool experience. I mean, I did something over the weekends, with a indoor lacrosse team, and all those guys were just so appreciative of, just bringing light to the sport of lacrosse. And, you know, I never really thought that I was doing that much, and just people really were taken back by, you know, just all the exposure that lacrosse was getting, and it really made me think. I mean, it was pretty cool that I was able to, you know, kind of share lacrosse with the world, or whoever was watching the Super Bowl. You know, that, you know, they might have heard the word, never heard it, or they heard it before, but you know, they might know a little bit more about it now, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. They should know it's the fastest game on 2 feet. It's a tough sport.
Yep.
It's a. I played in college, right? So I'm a fan. I was a football player like you. Chose lacrosse instead, just like you. The only difference is you're catching passes from Tom Brady, and I'm not. That's. I had to turn to become a writer instead. So, but Chris, you're just an inspiration. You're an inspiration to me, to so many people. And now I just really feel great that more people know your story. They know where you came from and how you got to where you are. And that's really what I wanted people to know. I wanted to know that, you know, it looks like it's an overnight success, but it's not. You know, there's no such thing as an overnight success. And you're a great example. And I do believe
still in the works.
Yeah, there'll be a movie about you one day. I truly believe.
I'll definitely write a book once I'm done with this. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I look forward to that. I think you should. I know it'll inspire so many, and whatever you need, I'm happy to help with you on that journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Chris. Thanks so much. God bless you, your family, your 2 babies. One final question. In this journey, did you feel like any spiritual just intervention during this time, like whether it was the breakout game, your babies, seeing them being born? Like, did you feel like, wow, there's just something bigger going on here beyond you?
You know what, it's funny you say that. I feel like the second that I found out that I was having kids, I found out during training camp via FaceTime, you know, with Ashley. She told me that she was pregnant. You know, in that moment, I felt like I had, you know, there was something more that I was playing for. And it helped me. I think it kind of pushed me, you know, during training camp, during those games, that when it was tough, when I was tired, you know, I kind of thought about, you know, those people, you know, that I was playing for, you know, whether that's spiritual or not. I knew that I had those guys with me the entire time. And, you know, that's what was most important to me, was, you know, playing for my family. So you know, I told Ashley every single time, you know, before I take the field, I just thank God for, you know, for them, you know, for, you know, bringing her into my life, my family, my friends, you know, if they were at the game, you know, that they were able to be there and support me and watch me. I mean, it's an incredible experience having those type of people there, you know, to watch you play. And, you know, it's part of the reason why I do it.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Chris. God bless you, and have a great holiday.
Thank you. You too.